Oh, thank you. There we go. I'm Leslie Santapaul. I have the honor of being your worship associate this morning. Please take a moment to put your mind, your spirit, and your cell phone in worship mode. We welcome everyone here and online to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke, with a special welcome to those who are joining us for the first time. We hope you will stay after the service for coffee in the fellowship hall behind us. Let's take a second now to stand up and connect with everyone watching at home. For those of you online who wish to share your joys and concerns during the Lifelines portion of the service, please put them in the chat box in the next 15 minutes. We acknowledge that our church resides on the traditional lands of the Tutelo and Monacan nations and was later farmed and developed through slave labor. We recognize and respect the ongoing connection to this land by generations of Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. May our gratitude and fellowship here echo and honor that rich history. And now please join me in reciting our words of welcome. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of the holy, as you come seeking love, your presence here is a gift. Whether you are filled with sadness or overflowing with joy, needing to be alone with yourself, or eager to engage with others, all who welcome all are welcome here. And our covenant. We commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world.
Do not leave your cares at the door. Do not leave them there when you come into this place. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Come on in, you are welcome here. And do not leave your cares at the door. Oh, bring your pain and sorrow and joy. There's a place for them upon the altar of life. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Come on in, you are welcome here. And do not leave your cares at the door. This is a place of grace, a place of losing and finding our way upon the winding road. Meeting and parting, stumbling and starting over. Be open to forgiveness and transformation. Come on in, you are welcome here. And do not leave your cares at the door. Amen. Amen. Amen.
Beautiful, thank you. Good morning. I'm the Reverend Jen Raffensperger. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am honored to serve as the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke. I want to thank Nancy for bringing in the beautiful forsythia that are in front of the altar. So she read my little thing on Thursday I love forsythia. They are one of those earliest, very eager signs of spring. They are beautiful, but they were right here, which I really worried about being able to see this entire half of the room. So please have some care when you come up to light candles later, if you do, to not kick over the pretty flowers, please. Thank you. So we have some opening words this morning. They are a poem by Ross Gay, and this poem is titled, "Sorrow is Not My Name," after Gwendolyn Brooks. No matter the pull toward brink, no matter the florid, deep sleep awaits. There is a time for everything. Look, just this morning, a vulture nodded his red, grizzled head at me, and I looked at him, admiring the sickle of his beak. Then the wind kicked up, and after arranging that good suit of feathers, he up and took off, just like that. And to boot, there are on this planet alone something like 2 million naturally occurring sweet things, some with names so generous as to kick the steel from my knees. Agave, persimmon, stickball, the purple okra I bought for $2 at the market. Think of that. The long night, the skeleton in the mirror, the man behind me on the bus taking notes. Yeah. But look, my niece is running through a field calling my name. My neighbor sings like an angel, and at the end of my block is a basketball court. I remember. My color's green. I'm spring. And he dedicates this poem to Walter Aikens. I'll invite Leslie now to light our chalice. We join with Unitarian, Universalist churches and congregations, fellowships and communities around the country and the world this morning, lighting the flaming chalice, the symbol of the living tradition of our faith, as a beacon to all who share our values and are of good spirit.
May the lighting of candle inspire us to use our minds, to heal and not to harm, to love and not to hinder, to fast and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of
Hello, I am Jessie McEwen. I'm the Director of Lifespan Faith Development here at UUCR, and I use they, them pronouns. And I'd like to invite up anyone who wants to try science this morning. Well, come on down. First, I have an observational question. What is this in this little, this is a fancy cup. Yeah, it's an egg. It's an egg. Yeah, well, come on over. I've got some science for you to do. This egg, for our purposes, is going to represent people. And I'm going to put it in this water. Now, this water is all life depends on water, right? So water is very much a liquid. So I'm going to put this egg in here. Tell me what happens to it. Did it float or sink? It sank, yeah. So when do we feel like we're sinking? We go under things. So have you ever felt like you were sinking, even if you weren't sinking? So if you don't have your floaties on, what happens? You sink, yeah. And sometimes you need what? Sometimes you need a lifeguard. Always bring your floaties. So have you ever felt like you were sinking when you ran out of lead in your mechanical pencil and you couldn't finish what you were writing or drawing? Is that a sinking feeling? Yes. Okay, I'm glad your pencils stay up, but I don't have those, so sometimes I feel like I'm sinking when I run out. What's another thing that might make you feel like you're sinking? Malin? When you're sad, yeah. What are some other things that might make you feel like you're sinking like this egg? Anybody out there want to volunteer something? Theo, we're going to let other folks tell us things. All right, can I listen to what Azalea's got to say? Let me hear it. During an earthquake sometimes maybe, or in anything that's scary that you can't control, it'll make you feel like you're sinking. When you're lonely, oh my goodness. Do you ever kind of feel like you're underwater when you're lonely? So, I have something here. Who can guess what this is? Salts. Sodium chloride, if you're being really sciencey. All right, Theo, I need your help. Come on over. We're going to stir in some spoonfuls of this. Now, when I'm lonely and someone calls me and they're being very generous and caring and they call me, that helps me feel better. So this is the phone call. Will you stir that in? Go for it. Ooh, good job. All right. When I run out of lead in my pencil, and someone, maybe my friend Celeste, offers me some in the right size, that makes me feel a little bit better too. Will you stir that one in? And then we're going to give Azalea a chance to stir something in. All right, come on up, Azalea. All right, Theo, you can sit down. All right, what's something that maybe when you're lost that someone can do? What's a generous thing that someone can do if you're lost and you need help finding your way? Yeah, if your friends offer to help you find your parents. Now, there's a lot of people in this room that have done that for you many times. So go ahead and stir that in. All right. Malin, you want to stir something in? Okay. What's another thing that might help you if you feel like you're sinking? Anybody? A balloon? Floaties. Your floaties. A good laugh. Yeah. Can we put one in for a laugh too? Go for it. Yeah, things that keep you from sinking. All right, I'm going to stir it for a little bit, and I'm going to tell you a little something about salt. Salt is a very precious thing. In some cultures, salt is a sacred thing, but you know what salt does? I'm going to ask other people that have done science before. If I put salt on meat, what will it do with that meat? It will preserve it. What if I put salt on some vegetables? It will change it. It'll pickle it a little bit, but it'll help preserve it. It'll keep things fresher longer, or it will change it so that I can still eat it later. And you know what it's done to this water? It has changed it. And all those good things that people put in here might, we're going to see, help this egg float. What do you think? There we go. Yeah, so we did a little science, and we helped this egg float. And the more salt we put in, the more we help it float, the more generosity from others will bring it up to the surface. But if we put too much stuff in here, it'll all fall to the bottom and give us extra that we can then give away. We're going to go play a game. We're going to go play the generosity. You are totally coming to play this game with us. Are you ready to go play the generosity game? Let's do it. Let's go upstairs.
Our reading this morning is When Giving is All We Have by Alberto Rios. One river gives its journey to the next. We give because someone gave to us. We give because nobody gave to us. We give because giving has changed us. We give because giving could have changed us. We have been better for it. We have been wounded by it. Giving has many faces. It is loud and quiet, big though small, diamond in wood nails. Its story is old, the plot worn, and the pages too. But we read this book anyway, over and over again. Giving is first and every time hand to hand, mine to yours, yours to mine. You gave me blue, and I gave you yellow. Together we are simple green. You gave me what you did not have, and I gave you what I had to give. Together we made something greater from the difference.
Thank you, Leslie. So before I was a minister, I was a religious educator. I served as the youth director at my home congregation in Columbia, Maryland. And one of my favorite parts of that job was organizing and helping to lead the annual Coming of Age Heritage trip to Boston. Our ninth graders did a lot of work during their coming of age year to explore UU history and their own beliefs, ending with a service where they would share their personal belief statements, their credos. But before we got to that part, we took the kids to Boston to learn about the American history of Unitarianism, Universalism, and Unitarian Universalism. The kids worked hard all year to raise funds for their trip, so it was always a sort of a capstone and a celebration to the year. And of course, it was a weekend away with friends, usually without their parents. My boss, the director of religious education, and I were usually the primary chaperones, along with another parent or two, so okay, one or two of the kids maybe did have a parent around. But one year, we found ourselves in Boston with a not very cohesive group. There was interpersonal tension, and there was some not great behavior from a few of the youth on the trip. My boss noticed it more because she wasn't used to their weekly dynamic. She didn't usually attend youth group meetings or discussions. It was clearly affecting everyone on the trip, and I wondered what to do. As youth director, this was my responsibility. But it was one of the kids who called it plain. "We want a meeting," this young woman said, "because we feel like the adults on this trip are out of covenant." And there I was, an adult Unitarian Universalist, facing a young person who was saying that I and my fellow adults were not fully listening to or aware of or responding to what was going on. I felt humbled and also proud. We took 2 hours out of our busy schedule, and the whole group of us sat in a common area in the youth hostel we were staying at, and we hashed it out. The youth asked for us to hear them, and we listened. And what I heard broke my heart. 2 of these young women were of mixed race and had faced years of microaggressions in the religious education program. Another of their friends felt misunderstood and outside the norm of the congregation because of their economic status. All of the adults, myself, our DRE, and the 2 parent chaperones present on that trip, were humbled by the version of our beloved congregation that our youth reflected back to us. After all the youth had a chance to speak and share their perspectives, only then did the adults talk. First, we thanked them. Then we apologized. Then we promised to do better and asked for help setting up a covenant for the weekend that everyone would agree to. When we had that written on somebody's piece of loose-leaf notepaper, every one of us signed it. And the rest of the weekend, while not perfect, was so much better. The communication was more honest, the struggle was more shared, and the joy was more real and more vibrant. When I selected the shared Unitarian Universalist value of generosity as the focal point for this service, I knew it was the one single value that I personally have struggled with the most. In large part, this is because I was raised in a family with a scarcity mindset, one that arose out of real struggles with financial stability and other things in the earliest years of my parents' marriage. But by the time I was born, almost a full decade later, it was sort of just out of habit. My older brother, he's 9 years older than I am, and I often compare notes on how different our family was during each of our childhoods. Now, my parents felt it was very important to treat my brother and I exactly the same, giving us the same treatment, spending the same amount on gifts, offering the exact same opportunities. This means that my parents tried very hard to treat us equally rather than treating us equitably, since we had very different needs and are, to this day, very different people. Now, my parents' choices were always rooted in love, and we knew that. But still, I have found that this leaves strange traces in my own life. I know intellectually that love is not transactional, that the point of loving is not to get someone else to love me or to give me special treatment. But sometimes in the deepest part of me, formed when I was just a child, I still feel that way. That there has to be some sort of an exactly equal give and take. What the youth taught me on that particular Boston trip was that generosity is so much more than a balance sheet. Those kids took the time to name a wrong and try to make it right. They could have just carried on, having their weekend away, even if feeling frustrated and acting out, because giving up the time to try and teach us adults felt like hard work. It felt like an uphill battle for them. And as adults, we could have pushed on and stuck to the trip's agenda, asserted our authority in a way that would also have undermined it. Because any authority that we had on that trip was earned and given in service to our shared Unitarian Universalist faith, and we were, in fact, out of covenant. It was an act of generosity for all of us, youth and adults alike, to set our ideas and our plans of how things were and how things had to be on our agenda, to talk about what things could be. The kids were generous enough to want to ask us for change, and we were able to receive that request. It wasn't perfect, but it was genuine, loving, and deeply rooted in generosity. So here's the language from Article 2 of the bylaws of the Unitarian Universalist Association about generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. Now, nowhere in there does it say, quote, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association covenant to reward you with satisfaction precisely equal to the amount of money and time you donate. That is not how generosity works. And of course, as I've had to remind myself constantly, since love is the baseline and focal point for all our shared values, that is not how love works either. Giving has many faces. It is loud and quiet, big though small diamond and wood nails. Its story is old, the plot worn, and the pages too, but we read this book anyway, over and again. Giving is first, and every time hand to hand, mine to yours, yours to mine. You gave me blue, and I gave you yellow. Together we are simple green. You gave me what you did not have, and I gave you what I had to give. Together we made something greater from the difference. Together we made something greater from the difference. Generosity is not a value that is only accessible by those with great wealth. Generosity is a quality of the spirit that doesn't just know, but also feels that we can make more together than we can alone. Generosity does not come from excess. It comes from gratitude and from hope. Generosity of spirit, of presence, of time, of patience, the kind of generosity that we all showed to one another on that Boston trip, that's impossible to put a dollar value on. And every kind of generosity helps us to realize our dream of working to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. And that last phrase, by the way, is from the bylaws language concerning our shared value of justice. We must be connected in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. This is very antithetical to the narrative that we too often hear in our public discourse, now perhaps more than ever before, the narrative of the triumph of the individual, as though every hardworking person who became successful in this country somehow did it without the help of a single other person, somehow moved through their life attending schools, public funding, driven to on roads, public funding, able to attend an institute of higher education, in part financed by public funding, student loans. Well, I think you get the idea. When we are able to acknowledge the gifts that help to shape us, not just the most obvious ones like our own parents or siblings or caretakers or teachers or friends, but also our communities, our churches, our scout groups, our schools, our parks. When we're able to cast our net of gratitude and hope that wide, our catch will be bigger. Our hearts will grow to understand how much more we can do together, making something greater from the difference. And to boot, there are, on this planet alone, something like 2 million naturally occurring sweet things. Some with names so generous as to kick the steel from my knees: agave, persimmon, stickball, the purple okra bought for $2 at the market. Think of that. The long night, the skeleton in the mirror, the man behind me on the bus taking notes. Yeah. But look, my niece is running through a field calling my name. My neighbor sings like an angel. And at the end of my block is a basketball court. I remember. My color's green. I'm spring. You gave me blue, and I gave you yellow. Together we are simple green. So this is the happy spring part. This week we welcomed this green and generous season with nothing more than axial tilt, a bit more and stronger sunlight, some good rain, and a nice breeze. The world is remaking itself, beginning the process of producing the abundance that is the answer to every human idea of scarcity. We live in a world that asks very little of us, though goodness knows we are not exactly fulfilling our part of that bargain right now. But it provides us with so much. I must remember what we create together. I remember the time that you had more to give than I did, that the best I could do was to be able to receive. And that's the side that we don't always talk about. For generosity to work, We need not only to be able to give, but to receive. The myth of individualism tells us also falsely that if we need help, we are somehow weak or unworthy. Again, that is not true. If we need help, all that tells us, reminds us, is that we are human, that we are interconnected, that our surviving, that our thriving is dependent upon one another. Its story is old, the plot worn, and the pages too. But we read this book anyway, over and again. Giving is, first and every time, hand to hand, mine to yours, yours to mine. We read this book over and over again because we find something new in the story every time. Though the language of the 7 shared values in our bylaws is relatively new, the ideas are old indeed. In fact, they're reflected quite simply and beautifully in one of our beloved hymns, which we're going to sing just a little bit, which we're going to have in a little bit at the offertory. Right? This hymn, From You I Receive, was written and originally performed by Nathan and Joseph Siegel, brothers and singing rabbis who traced their lineage back through 12 generations of singing rabbis. And as a part of the folk music scene of the 1960s, they touched on this very old idea in this simple song. It only has 4 lines. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. We live because we share. It is not the act of giving that is generative on its own, nor the act of receiving on its own, but the mutual expression of trust and openness that allows us to generate and perpetuate our interdependence, that allows us to build that thing which is greater than any of us could build alone. We give because someone gave to us. We give because nobody gave to us. We give because giving has changed us. We give because giving could have changed us. We know that giving has changed us. We understand the myth of individualism and the truth of interdependence. We affirm that interdependence does not erase our own individual gifts, but allows them to flourish by being used for an even greater good than any of us could accomplish on our own. We remember times of scarcity when giving could have changed us. We see need on our streets and in the faces of our neighbors each day. We are called to serve that love which our faith places at its center by giving and by receiving, by questioning injustice because we understand that none of us are free until all of us are free. We build gratitude for all we have and hope for all we wish to build. And together, we pray we will make something greater from the difference. So may it be. We come now to that time in our service each week where we invite you into generosity as you consider what we can build together. We know that it is the generosity of your time, talent, and treasure that allow us to build the beloved community here. The ushers will now gratefully receive the offering. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Terry Smith, representing the Caring Committee this morning to share the joys and concerns of the friends and members of our congregation. Leslie Santapaul is pleased to welcome, along with her partner Tom, the arrival of Charlotte Sutton Boville, who was born to Tom's daughter Rachel on March the 1st. Congratulations. Kathy Overholzer remains in Lewis Gale Hospital with an undetermined illness. Your thoughts and prayers are appreciated, but please, no visitors. Also in the hospital is Alice Davis with breathing problems. The family hopes she will be coming home early this week. And I'd like to point out what a joy it is to have John Benke back with us this morning in the congregation. Yes. And also a special greeting to Linda Wallace and her husband, Michael Smith. It's a pleasure to have you back again. Good looking as ever. Speaking of other beautiful things, there is new art hanging in the church. So take a look at it today after the service, and thank you to the talented people who share with us. And thank you to the grounds crew who took out the old shrubs that were blocking light into the sanctuary. It's new life for our stained glass windows. And finally, I'd like to point out your friend and mine, Betsy Biesenbach. Today, Betsy is 60-something. Tomorrow, she will be 60-something else. So happy birthday coming up to Betsy. And now I invite you to come forward to light a candle to express those joys and concerns that you hold in the silence of your hearts. And again, please be aware of the flowers.
I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. I will be your standing
May our hearts be lifted and our spirits restored.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you, choir. That love Melanie more. That's one of my favorites, so thank you. I will light a candle this week in the midst of all of the hurt and everything in the name of spring and of the turning of the year and the cycles of renewal that remind us that even when things feel challenging, change comes. And as I do each week, I will light a candle for all of those who are joining us online so that your presence has its own little physical place within our sanctuary together. If you'll join me now in a spirit of prayer and reflection, making yourself comfortable in your seats for what that means for you here or at home. Maybe closing your eyes if that's comfortable or softening your gaze. Spirit of life and breath of spring, we know that the coming of the green invites us into a more generous spirit within ourselves. It can be hard to cultivate gratitude and hope on some days, in some places, and at some times particularly. And yet, even the smallest movement towards gratitude, towards hope, starts to tend the soil of our own spirits, where that generosity can grow and flower into expressions of abundance. Even a tiny amount of soil turning will help. So remind us in the week ahead, if we feel challenged in gratitude and hope, that even one little breath of either of those things will help us, center us, ground us, and remind us that we can create something greater together. So may it be.
And now, as we draw close to the end of our time together in worship this week, we turn our attention from within our community and their joys and concerns, and we prepare to engage the world in the week ahead. We'll begin with a few announcements. Today, we're excited to announce the first Roanoke Speaks open mic event, and sign-ups are at 3:15 p.m., and the show will start at 3:30 right here in our sanctuary. And I'm bummed that I can't be there. Poetry, prose, music, or stand-up comedy, yeah. It's your 5 minutes to amaze, inform, captivate, and create. This is the first of a regular series to be held on the fourth Sunday of each month. Yay. Next week, please plan to stay after service for a brief presentation and a Q&A session with Rev Jen. The Shared Ministry Committee is beginning to work to move toward calling Rev Jen to be our settled minister. Your interest and input is vital to this next step in our shared ministries. And today, after service, there is another special opportunity. I'd like to invite up our board president, Gordon Malcheski, to tell you more about it.
Thank you, Leslie, and good morning, everyone. So we have an exciting event after the service today. It's going to take place at 12:15, so if you want to grab a cup of coffee and some refreshment for yourself, 12:15 in the Olin Room will be our very first focus group meeting. This is part of our capital campaign event. The information that we present here will give you an idea of what's going on, what our proposal is for major renovations to our beloved church. We're also going to be using this meeting to solicit input from you, answer any questions that you may have. However, we will not be asking you for any money during this event. So if you can't make that, we do have a number of other events that you can attend. Now, there has been an update. The times and days are the same, but most of them will be held in the Olin Room. So if you arrive and nobody's in the sanctuary, just check out the Olin Room. If you can't miss this Sunday's, the next one is Tuesday, March 25th at 6:30 in the Olin Room. So this is a great opportunity. This is really a milestone event for our congregation. Aside from purchasing this building and doing fundraising for this building itself and a minor campaign for kitchen remodeling, stained glass windows, and then the boiler repair, this is really the very first time our congregation has had a capital campaign. It's been decades since we've done that. So I invite all of you to attend, if not today, at a future event, and I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you. Thank you, James. So for any of you that are newcomers, if you go towards the name tag board, just continue straight ahead. Down at the end of the hall is the Olin Room. Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon. And that's 6:30 p.m., right? Yes. Look, some people are way earlier risers than I am. So I just want to be clear that Tuesday's focus group session is 6:30 p.m. And now I will invite Leslie to extinguish our chalice, as we do in Unitarian Universalist congregations, churches, communities, and fellowships around the country and the world, knowing that the light of our faith still burns within us even as we darken the chalice in the sanctuary to begin the week ahead until we can join one another again next Sunday.
Our closing song is Draw the Circle Wide. And our tradition when we do this song is to make a circle or an amoeba as we can in the sanctuary. So we will start, and you can just move towards the outer edges as you can. And if you cannot, just find somebody's hand next to you that you can hold. The words will be on the screen.
Draw
does not need to be a benediction after that. That is your benediction. Draw the circle as wide as you can, everyone. Thank you. All in room for the focus group. Food, snacks, enjoy. Thank you.
Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below, till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling weeds and picking stones, we are made of dreams and bones. Need a place to call my own, for the time is near at hand. Grain by grain, sun and rain, find my way through nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music of the land. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below, till the rain comes tumbling down. Plant your rows straight and long, temper it with prayer and song. Mother Earth will make you strong, if you give her love and care. Hungry old crow watching me, from his perch on yonder tree. In my garden I'm as free as a feathered thief up there. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below, till the rain comes tumbling down. And now for the anti-garden song. Slug by slug, weed by weed, my garden has got me teed. All the insects love to feed upon my tomato plants. Sunburned face, skinned up knees, the kitchen stuffed with zucchini. I'm shopping at the A&P if ever I get the chance. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below, till the rain comes tumbling down. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below, till the rain comes tumbling down. pulling weeds and picking stones. We are made of dreams and bones. Need a place to call my own, for the time is near at hand. Grain by grain, sun and rain, find my way through nature's chain. Tune my body and my brain to the music of the land. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below, till the rain comes tumbling down. Plant your rose straight and long, temper it with prayer and song. Mother Earth will make you strong if you give her love and care. Hungry old crow watching me from his perch on yonder tree. In my garden I'm as free as a feathered leaf up there. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, please bless these seeds I sow. Please keep them safe below, till the rain comes tumbling down. And now for the anti-garden song. Slug by slug, weed by weed, my garden has got me teed. All the insects love to feed upon my tomato plants. Sunburned face, skinned up knees, the kitchen stuffed with zucchini. I'm shopping at the A&P if ever I get the chance. Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. Gonna mulch it deep and low, gonna make it fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by